Hi, welcome back to another edition of That Mill podcast. So we got our first away win since March. What a feeling that was. I bet there's plenty of sore heads spawning. But anyway, let's crack on with the show. I am joined by one of our regular show hosts, show companions, show partners, I suppose, is the one and only Joe Samper. Hello, fella.
Hi, Mickey. How you doing? You all right?
Yeah, not too bad at all.
Good. And I love that you're drinking your frozen mug, your pink frozen mug at the moment.
Yeah, that's what you get when you've got a 15-year-old daughter and she says, Dad, do you want a cup of coffee? And I went, yes, I'd love one. And then I realised that I'd done that. I said, every time I'm going to take a mouthful, everyone's going to see the cup I'm drinking. So if you're listening to this on a podcast, you'll have to go back to the YouTube later on today and then watch it there, and then you'll see the cup I'm holding. It's a very fetching cup. One was probably in Joe's cupboard, to be fair. So, yeah. Right, without further ado, I'm going to introduce you to someone who's a newbie to the show, and hopefully will come back on again going forward, as long as these lads don't scare her away. You're going to hear a female voice. This isn't an error in transmission. We're not playing with voice synthesizers. Welcome to the show, Candy. How you doing?
Hello, I'm good, thanks. How are you?
Yeah, not too bad. All good. So we are joined again by Ben. Hello, mate.
Evening all. Thanks for having us again, Mickey.
No worries. And last but no means least, we're joined by Stephen. Hello, mate.
Hello, Mickey. You're right. Nice to be back on for another win.
No, that's it. It's good. Yeah, you two turning into lucky stars now, haven't you? Last week we got a win. This week we got a win. We're doing all right. So yeah, it's going in the right direction. So right, we're going to be back with part one. We're going to be talking about a few things. We've got talking about yesterday's game. We're going to talk in some detail about this new formation. We're going to talk about Voglsammer, whether or not it's middle or wing. Jed versus Fleming. And also when Jed comes back, are you one of those what's going to boo him, or are you one of those what's going to clap and cheer him? Anyway, we will be back for part one straight after this. Welcome back. I'm going to come to you in a minute, Joe, because obviously I know you were playing Vets football yesterday. So I'm going to come to you first, Candy. Not meaning to throw you in it there. Thoughts on yesterday's game?
Yeah, it was great to get, obviously, first away win for ages. I thought the team played really well. I think Fleming is just one of the best signings we've had for a while, to be honest. Bit disappointed with Hutch a little bit, obviously, with the own goal, but he had a few chances in the first half, and I don't know, I just thought, oh, really, did you have to do that? But again, it's just one of those things. And really pleased to see Bradshaw as well get a goal. He obviously hasn't had a goal now for a while, has he? So, yeah, that was really good. But, yeah, all in all, I thought they played really well, and great to get that away win.
No, that's it. I mean, I watched it on the stream. To be fair to Hutch, I don't think he had a chance in there. If he hadn't have put his body in the way and bounced it in the goal, then he would have come back and they would have scored anyway. But he was mortified because the camera panned in nicely on him.
Mm-hmm.
He was absolutely mortified. Bless him. So yeah, we're. I think we can forgive him for that one. But yeah, it's a shame about Murray Wallace going off injured. I think he will be an absolute loss for us, depending how long he's out for. But all in all, a great away win, and one we've been desperately needing since March the 5th, I think it was.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So yeah, Stephen, your views, fella.
I thought it was actually quite nice to and I say this, and this doesn't happen very often, but it was nice to watch a game and actually feel like we were in control. Bristol City didn't really have. I think they had one shot on target, not including the goal, because obviously it was an own goal. And even when they scored the goal, it usually you sort of the home side get themselves up, the crowd get themselves up, and we come under the cosh. But it was just comfortable. I think a lot of our players did the right things when they needed to, and it showed, because the performance was probably, and I've seen a lot of people on Twitter say, probably the best of the season. I think maybe the sort of home game against Stoke might might be up there for that title. But comfortable away performance, and everyone did their jobs, and I think it showed.
No, I totally agree with you. Ben, I know you didn't see the whole game, but you've seen the extended highlights.
I've seen the
Joe
extended
has
highlights.
Well.
Yeah, watched all those this afternoon. I mean, it looked like a fairly, I don't want to say comfortable victory. I know Rowett in his post-match interview said it was a comfortable victory, but nothing with us is ever comfortable. But, I mean, they looked pretty poor from what I saw. Their winger, Semenyo, he looked like their only kind of bright spark. Everything looked like it came through them. Looked like we had a fair few chances that we probably would have been a bit disappointed that we didn't score earlier than we did. I think Hutch's one certainly in the first half. I thought he might have been a bit disappointed that he didn't score there. But yeah, all in all, good performance. Nice to get that 7-month hoodoo away. Again, Rowett mentioned in his post-match interview now, it's about kicking on. And he said to the players that we just got, there's no excuses now moving forward. So yeah, hopefully we can back it up with a win midweek and obviously then Saturday as well. So yeah, good result.
Yeah, no, I totally agree with that. Coming in, Joe, did you watch the extended highlights?
I did, and very, very good to watch. A bit like what Stephen said there, really. I think it was a comfortable sort of win, comfortable performance. Looking at the highlights, we seem like we're in control. I know we'll talk about the formation in a moment, but again, the formation really suits us, suits our players, suits the style of football we're trying to play. And what's pleasing is, apart from Hutch's own goal and the penalty we conceded a couple of games ago against who was it? Is it Rotherham? I think it was. We haven't conceded a goal really in open play in the last 3 games, going to a back 4. So if that was Rowett's concern for going from a 5 to a 4, he's nothing to worry about. I think defensively, I think we're sound. If anything, we look much stronger and we look better going forward as well. So all in all, very pleased with the win. First away win in God knows how long. And onwards and upwards. Look forward to Wednesday night against Watford.
Yeah, no, that's it. We'll come on to Watford later on in the show. But you mentioned it. We'll start with his formation. We'll go to you first, Stephen. His formation's definitely made a change. The players look, we approached it last night on the stream, but this formation, the players are supporting by the looks of it. The fans are loving it. I think he can't go back now.
No, I think we briefly touched on this on the Spaces and on the last pod that the players look like they're enjoying playing in their proper positions. They look like they're enjoying having that kind of like the leash has been loosened a little bit. They're expressing themselves moving forward. They're given a license to try things that perhaps they wasn't able to do when you play the 5 at the back. I mean, it comes across that I have like a George Saville fan club, but he's just been unbelievable since the change into the 4 in midfield. Him and Billy Mitchell have just they look different players. They look undroppable. And, for a period of time, we've had so many changes and tinkering with the team, but they're undroppable. And it's incredible how a change in formation. I think it was interesting what Joe said that Rowett's concerns might have been that defensively with a 4 at the back, we might be a bit shaky. Well, if every 3 games we're going to concede a penalty and an own goal, I think we'd all take that. So it clearly shows that the players that are playing in the back 4, obviously including Murray, who may be out now for a little while, but those players are capable of doing it. So yeah, no need to change. I can understand in game, perhaps if you're under the cosh a little bit at 1-0 away from a bigger side, you might need to go at 5 at the back to just sort of hold on for 5 minutes, but no need to start with it, in my opinion. Not at all.
I'll go to you next, Candy. I mean, you go home and away. Better for you to watch since we've gone back 4?
Definitely. I think, as you can see from the last couple of games since you changed it up, it's been really enjoyable to watch. Before that, I was actually sitting there watching Millwall for the first time in ages, thinking this is so boring. It's just boring football. And now it's getting a bit more exciting. And as Stephen said, the players are playing in their correct positions. So there you can see that they now want it and they're now playing to the level and the standard they should be playing at. The only thing I don't really get at the moment is why he's dropping Bart. I mean, I quite like Long. I think he's good, but I prefer Bart. And a few people have said on Twitter that he's got a knee injury and maybe that's why he's being dropped. But I don't get it.
Bart had a knee injury when we went to buy him before. And then the reason he failed his medical was because of his knee. And then we went back in and basically offered him a pay-per-play contract so that he gets paid. I think he gets paid per time he plays because of that knee injury. And that would make sense. But again, I don't know categorically whether or not he is injured, but it does seem very, very strange why he's been dropped. But I don't know. Ben, you got any info on that?
Not necessarily info, but just going back again to what Rowett said when Long came back in, what was that, 4 games ago now? And he said he brought Long in because he was a bit more vocal at the back and he felt like we missed that when obviously Hutch was out. So is that the reason now, or do we think there is an injury there? I mean, he made a good save yesterday as well. I thought Long. There was a
also to add to that. Also, Ben, as good as Bart is at shop stopping or whatnot, I do feel that Long's better with his feet. You know, the ball played to his feet. I don't feel nervous. Like the amount of times the ball's passed back to Bart and you've got a striker sort of chasing him down. He's trying to get his position right, kind of clear the ball, play the ball out. The heart's in your mouth a little bit. Think, is he going to fluff this up? Do you know what I mean? Whereas with Long, I mean, I've seen him like in warm-ups with the ball at his feet. He's so good. I wonder whether these are the things, like you say, like the vocal side of it, like the ball at the feet, that maybe he wants that type of goalkeeper. And let's be honest, he ain't terrible at shot stopping. He's not too bad on crosses either. Got good hands. But I agree with Candy. I feel like I want to see Bart in goal. I just feel like he's more dependable in goal. But maybe, Rowett sees something different in Long and feels he's more suited to the way we play,
Yeah, I've got no problem with Long being in there. I think he's probably going to, it's probably like everyone at the minute, he's probably going to play until he makes a mistake or doesn't perform well. I think we touched upon it again last week on the pod with Bart, and there's probably a reason again why he's our keeper and he's not playing the Premier League, because shot stopping wise, he's probably as good as anyone. He's probably certainly the best in the Championship, or certainly at my view. But distribution wise, that's probably where he lets himself down a bit and he isn't as strong. So that's probably, if that is the case that Rowett sees and he wants to be a bit play out, or he thinks Long's distribution's better, then he's going to go down that route. But I thought for me, I'm happy with Long. And again, as we said yesterday on the Spaces, he's probably going to keep his number 1 shirt until he makes a mistake or does something wrong.
Your thoughts on the formation?
Yeah, I think like everyone, I think we were crying out for a change. I think it gives us more impetus defensively, and I mean that in a sense that we just look. I think with the 3-5-2, the 5-3-2 formation, we seem to sit in and let teams come onto us a bit. And I think with the 4 at the back and the 2 holding midfielders or the 2 central midfielders, we just look better pressing. So I mean, I'm all in on the formation. I've got no problems with it. I don't see any reason why we should go back unless injuries force our hand. That is my only concern now with Wallace getting injured. Is Rowett going to panic with the 2 games and go, I'm going to revert back to type? That's my only concern.
Well, I reckon Joe's going to talk about formation and he's going to give us his thoughts on formation, and then he'll probably bring most of you back in because he's going to add a little caveat, no doubt, like he did on the Space yesterday, over his thoughts about what sort of player maybe will come in and maybe not. So, sit tight. Go on in, Joe.
Well, I mean, I said it on the Space and I'll say it again. So at left back, I think, so Styles come in, didn't he? And didn't do too great at left back. Malone's been out for a few weeks. He's a little bit suspect at the moment. Mentally, we don't know whether, his confidence is there, where he can actually play it as a left back. So what my fear is, would he now go to a back 3 again to accommodate the left back situation, therefore bringing Cresswell in, go with Cresswell, Hutch and Cooper, and go wing backs again purely because of the conundrum he's got at the moment at left back. So I'm hoping and praying to God he doesn't do that. I'm hoping he'll pick Malone or he'll pick Styles at left back and just go with the flat back 4. Because I agree with what you guys are saying. I think we look so much better with the back 4. We've got that extra player further up the pitch. And what it also does, it creates more space for Fleming. And you see a difference what Fleming's been in the last few games, where he's not sort of isolated up there on his own. He's got players around him, which means he can play. He can find the pocket of space. So it just suits the system suits the players. But my question is, would Rowett buckle now and go the back three to accommodate the left back situation?
I think that's exactly what I said. Well, that's my only worry. I think he might now. I think he might panic and go back to it. I don't know what you guys think as well, but that's my only concern.
Yeah. Just for that game till Hutch comes back. Oh, so Murray comes back. Sorry.
I'm not so sure. I don't think so. I would like to think that he could give Styles or Malone, but in my opinion, if it was up to me making a decision, it would be Malone to bring him back in. But if you still stick with the back four and Malone comes in and it's not working, you can change it in game. You're not just stuck with Malone in facing a rapid winger or whatever.
Yeah.
But stick with it. I think he just needs to continue to be brave. Give Malone a chance to play at left back, and if it's not working, then perhaps change it in the game if we are being overrun or something. But
when you say change it, though, Steve, do you mean change it as in stay with the same formation and move Styles at left back, or change the formation?
Whatever suits, to be honest. I mean, Rowett can sometimes be a bit strange, with making subs very late. But if it's clearly not working, you could try Styles. You could go to a back five. You could. There's different things, but I don't think after 7 points from 9 games playing a back four, I don't think there's any need to change the formation. Trust in your squad, trust in the players that you've brought in, and go, right, Murray Wallace is out. Who are we putting at left back?
Yeah.
And give them
there's
an
opportunity, isn't it, Stephen? It's an opportunity for that player to come in and state a claim for that place. Like we've seen it with Long, we've seen it with Saville and Mitchell and players that are getting picked at the moment ahead, like Bradshaw, for example. He's got an opportunity to play last few games and he sort of seems to be sort of running his socks off as he always does. But I think I look at it as a positive. It gives opportunity for someone to come in and take that left back spot and hopefully keep Murray out if they're good enough for when he returns,
I think Rowett touched on it. He said, didn't he, in his press conference that, or the interview after, that at the moment the players that are in the team are fighting for the shirt and they're not letting go. So it's only when an opportunity comes up, we might get another injury on Wednesday night, for argument's sake, to
don't mention
don't mention any names. Jesus Christ.
Don't
we'll be hated if you mention it. Mention it on your Twitter account. Don't mention it on here. So, I mean, Candy, what's your thoughts on what they're saying about possibly whether or not they're having to go Scott Malone or Styles?
I think Malone as well. But I also agree with what Stephen just said. I don't see why you would change it if it's working for the moment. But yeah,
stubbornness.
Ben and Joe says people should be fighting for their place in the team. And if we do have another injury, we sort of then look at our next people who can step up and take the position, really. I mean, look at Danny Mack, for instance. He didn't have, I think he'd missed, I can't even tell you how many games, but he kept him out the squad and then brought him back in. I really like Danny Mack. Got a lot of time for him. I think he's a good player as a Millwall boy. And now he's back in the team. I think we do play differently as well with him.
Yeah, no, I agree. Ben, you're going to mention Cresswell, aren't you?
I am, yeah. I just wanted to, obviously he wasn't even in the squad at the weekend. Was there a reason for that? Has he taken a knock? Do we think he's on his way out? Again, it was mentioned on the Spaces that he had a certain amount of play time that we had to guarantee him, or we had to guarantee to Leeds. He's clearly not getting that.
Yeah, I mean, we obviously weren't involved in that contract negotiation, but there's been media speculation from it's either a Leeds paper or a Leeds fan channel, what basically said that he should be guaranteed to play every game. And the fact that he hasn't and missed a couple of games, potentially Leeds are looking for a compensation clause.
And the only reason why I mentioned Cresswell there is if we do then go back to a back three, that we all hope that we don't. But if we do, is he going to come straight back in, having been left out the squad for 2 games for any particular reason?
Can he not fill in that? Can he not fill in that spot?
For me, I feel like confidence has been completely lost in probably not only him, but within himself as well. That's my view now. If he's been left out the squad completely, it's probably almost a case of get him out the firing line a bit.
Trouble is, guys, I don't know how you feel about this, but I don't feel confident with Cresswell coming back in the back four. I think he's right in a back three on the right hand side, where you've got 2 other centre backs, a Hutch or a Cooper, sort of leading that defensive line. But stick him in the back four, I don't know, I'm a little bit sort of unsure about him playing there. So I can't see how he's going to get back in, to be honest with you. At the moment, if we do get an injury now to Coops and to Hutch.
Fucking hell, 3 of you.
No, with Murray out, who comes in at centre half? We'll have to put Cresswell, won't we? So if he goes back, we're absolutely screwed. I mean, can we bring Alex Mitchell back? I don't know whether that's possible, whether he's got,
Could Cresswell not fit in the middle and bring Coops onto the right back?
Yeah,
position?
you can, but you wouldn't want to put Coops at left back. He's so slow, and especially against Watford, they're pacey wingers, the likes of Sarr and all the players like that. You don't really want to be isolated 1v1 with those ones. I think Styles is pretty quick, to be honest with you. And I'll go with Styles at left back purely because I think he can cope with the pace and the agility of Watford's attacking players. They've got players like Asprilla and Sarr and Surma that are very, very quick and very quick on the counter attack as well. So you need a kind of fast fullback that's going to turn and cover and snuff out any sort of dangers from those areas. So yeah, could Malone do it? Yes, he can, but I just feel Styles probably more comfortable in that left back position. So we'll see anyway.
All right. Well, talking about positions, let's come in with another topic. What we've put first. So it's starting to be a bit professional with show notes. Fucking hell. And I'll come to you, Ben, first, because you left us last night to drink your pint on the space.
Carry on drinking. Sorry.
Yeah, that's it. So Voglsammer, Voggy, whichever way you want to call him. Where would you play him? Middle or wing?
I think, again, we've probably said the same things over and over again, someone on the show, but he's probably a victim, or him being able to play wide right and doing a decent enough job there and just being a player that he seems like he is, it'll play in any position for you and just do a job. It's probably not helping him. I think the issue we're going to have is maybe when everyone's not injured and everyone's back fit. Where would he be in the pecking order if he was going to play centre forward? Because Afobe's going to want to get some game time. Bradders, for me, is a streaky centre forward in the sense of now I expect him to go on and score a few goals. He always seems to play like that. He goes quiet and then he'll score and he goes on a bit of a run. So I expect him to keep his place now. I don't think you can take him out. Are we getting the full potential out of Vogie wide? No, probably not. But yeah, my only concern is where does he fit in? Again, just going on to Stephen's point, it might be a case of he might end up playing in a front two when we're chasing a game and Rout has to change it a bit. So yeah, I think it's a tough one with Vogie. I don't think he's playing in his best position, but I think at the minute he's doing such a good job out there that you can't really change it.
I mean, on the space last night, there was a fella on the space last night who said he wants him kept on the wing because there seems to be a fantastic partnership building between him and Danny Mack. I mean, what's your thoughts on that, Stephen?
Yeah, I think so. I think in the home game against Borough, there was an incident down their left, our right, and Vogie ended up winning a free kick, literally just down by the corner flag. He tracked back sort of 40, 50 yards to help Danny. And I think McNamara appreciated the support. And it's almost like, dare I say, the Romeo and Jed partnership from a few years ago. I think if you do build up a relationship with players on the pitch, I think they have to play together. If you separate them, another winger might not do another job. But on the subject of Vogie being a sort of a victim, if you will, of being able to play out wide, Rowett come into the season with a plan, and the plan was to play with wing backs, and it hasn't worked. But the problem with that is that he sacrificed wingers to do that, because you wouldn't have wingers and wing backs. So he went, right, we're going to sack off the wingers, we're going to go the wing back route, and now that it's not worked and we've gone back to a different formation, he's looked at his squad. Mason Bennett, as much as I love Mason, he's you can't trust he's going to be able to play 3 or 4 games in a row. He's looking at his side going, who can I play out wide? And unfortunately, outside of Tyler Bury, Voggie's the next one on the list. So in January, I think we need to go out and sign a winger, and that would then allow give Rowett the freedom to say, okay, if, as I think Ben said, Bradshaw's streak comes to an end or Afobe's not scoring, okay, we've now got a right winger. get yourself up top and show us what you can do in the middle.
Yeah, no, I agree with that. Candy, your
Just
thoughts on?
Sorry, because just on that point, Stephen, if we had all the guys fit, where would Vogie be in rank to off the centre forwards?
That's what I think. Sorry, Stephen.
No, go on.
In my opinion, I think Bradshaw is the one. I think he works hard for the team. I would start him personally, and I think Vogie would probably be second for me. There's something about Afobe that I don't know. I think Vogie. I think if you was to give Vogie and Afobe the same amount of game time in a central position up front, I would be confident to say I think Vogie would score more goals. But that's just my opinion.
Yeah, I would too. Go on, Candy.
Yeah, touching on both points that Ben and Stephen made. If you look at the pecking order, where would he come in? And also, Afobe for me, he's not consistent enough for me. Like he can play really good and then score loads of goals, and then he just goes quiet. And I feel like as he's come back this season, I just don't feel like he's not giving his full potential as such. But I just can't see he misses the goals that he misses are just unbelievable. They go over his head or.
It doesn't look as if he's got the same amount or the same level of passion what he had last season.
What he had last year, exactly.
It looks as if he was on the verge of going to play European football, and whatever happened, whether or not he believed, Gary managed to convert him or whatever it is, and the spate of bad runs seems to have really kicked his confidence.
Yeah.
And he that penalty yesterday, he just looked, and even watching the highlights, it just looks as if he side-footed that rather than tried to put it in the back of the net.
Yeah, and I think Voglsammer was meant to be this person who came up, changed the game. They said, he'd come on in the 80th minute and he'd score. He'd come on and he'd change the game. I don't feel like he's getting that at the moment, obviously, with where Rowett's playing him. But I think it should be Bradshaw and him. I just don't think Afobe should be there at the moment. But
no, I agree with that. I think you're right. And also I think that the fact that we've got 5 substitutions we can use now, which we hit on the shows at the beginning of the season, I think now football's changed to what it used to be. It's now more strategic about, I think realistically, you play the first 50, 60 minutes of maybe holding the game, trying to score a couple of goals, but you've now got the potential to suddenly put fresh legs and cause opposition real problems from 60 minutes onwards. But if you wait until 75, 80 minutes to do that, you're not going to make the change you want. You need to bring them on fairly early so they can settle into the game and actually do damage, because, we could play, for instance, I don't know, you could play a couple in the front and then go from there. That's my alarm going off, by the way. It's my dishwasher. And no, it's not.
It's not your fire alarm, is it?
I've got no idea. I've got
smoke alarm going off.
But no, I'll suss it in a second. I'll throw it to you, Joe. What would be your 5 substitutions, or who would you take off and bring on then?
It's very, very difficult. Going back to your last question very quickly, to touch on that, just want to say all great points from all you guys, from Ben, Steve and Candy. I agree with all those points. I think you're right. Vogie's doing a job for us on the right-hand side. He's not an out-and-out winger. We see quite clearly he's not that. He's not somebody who can sort of take a player on, get to the ball and whip crosses in and be a constant attacking threat against teams. But he does work very hard. He does track back, which is excellent. Again, great point what Steve mentioned there as well. He's built this squad with wing backs in mind, and he's kind of done away with wingers completely. So hopefully in January we do sign a right sort of winger that can do a job there. If we do find a right winger that come and do a better job there, me personally, I would love to get Vogie in that central attacking role instead of Bradshaw. Going back to the points that you guys mentioned about Afobe, last season he did really, really well, but he played up front with Bradshaw in a different formation with Jed Wallace doing the running around behind them, didn't he? So that might suit him. He probably liked it being up there with his mate. Obviously, we talk about his bromance with Bradshaw, and they get on really well together. So he probably flourished in that formation. This formation is very different. You're playing one up front essentially, with the number 10 behind and the wingers behind. So maybe it's a system that he's not quite adapting to at the moment. And I think give Voggy the chance, I think he'll do a much better job there, and I think he'll score more goals. But at the moment, we haven't seen him play in that one lone striker role to really kind of give an honest answer. But hopefully, he'll get opportunity and he'll do really well there. Sub-wise, Mickey, I think you look at the likes of Honeyman. That will come off the bench. Bennett will come off the bench. You've got Shackleton, Malone, if you're going to use Malone or Styles.
Who would you sacrifice? Say, for instance, Bennett's fit, and say 55 minutes, you move Vlog into the central role, and stick Bennett on that wing.
Yeah.
Who would you need to? Who would you sacrifice in the current starting 11? What he's got? Who would you sacrifice in the middle to bring Vog into the middle?
Well, I think it'd be Bradders, won't it? So if you're sticking Voggy up front in the middle, you're going to keep Fleming in there. That's a dead certain, the number 10. If you want to start with Bury on the left side, cutting in on his right foot, which we know he likes doing, you got to kind of keep him there. Yeah. Maybe get Bennett to do a job on the right-hand side. Otherwise, I think you kind of stick with what you've got with Bradders up front, leave Voggy on the right-hand side for now until we find something. I just can't see Bennett doing, 80 minutes, let alone 90 minutes at the moment. So you could probably do a good hour.
But maybe it's worth, maybe it'd be good to see Bennett coming in for maybe 50
earlier. Yeah,
50 minutes, maybe. Starts the game and then change it up from there maybe, and then bring
or even Mickey, even if we took Bradders off, let's say the 70th minute, once you kind of run the defence ragged and they get tired, then move Foggy over in a central role and then bring Bennett on for the last sort of 20 minutes or 30 minutes, maybe. That might suit Bennett. It'll give a chance for Voggy to play up front as a lone striker. Saying that, he'd probably be fucked, won't he? By the time he plays the strike, he's been running back and forward all day long before he gets the opportunity to play up front.
No, that's it. Got him. Ben, you got something you want to come in on?
Yeah, I was just going to say, I think the beauty with this is now that the options we've got in that forward position, because they're all very different types of centre forwards. I think that's I know we're saying about who's going to be in the pecking order, but again, going back to the formation changes, what we can do now, they're all very different. Bradshaw's a bit more of a hard-working number 9, if you want. You've got Afobe, you could be a bit more of a target man with, and maybe even Voglsammer if you want to put him in that bracket. And if you want to put Mason Bennett as a forward, he's a bit more tricky and agile. So we've got options now. I think that's the nice thing up there, that, we can change it and we can go in a different direction if we feel like the game needs to.
No, I totally agree. I'm going to throw a curveball in on another subject. Fleming or Jed? Which have we got the better player now in Fleming? And I'll go with you, Stephen.
I think it's too early.
Too soon?
I think it's still too soon to be making that comparison. I think Ben
5 in 5. He scored the same amount of goals in 5 games as Jed did the whole of last season.
The thing is, I think, and if we're being brutally honest, over the last couple of years, Jed Wallace had single-handedly kept Millwall's hopes alive in the Championship, and he'd done it for 3, maybe 4 seasons. Do I think that Zian Fleming is technically a better player than Jed Wallace? Yes, I do. I think technically he has more ability. But in terms of what he's done in a Millwall shirt, I think we still need it. Do it for a season, and then we can come back and have this. We can come back and have this conversation because, as I say, at the moment, Bradshaw and Afobe have streaks where they score 4 or 5 goals and they look like, red hot strikers, and then they don't score for ages. I don't think that's going to happen with Fleming, but it could. So I think we need to give him a little bit of time to, he's still adapting to English football. I think he's still got more to give.
So do I.
In a Millwall shirt, and that's the crazy thing. But I think give him a few more games, give him a little bit more opportunity playing in this role, and then I think we can have the conversation then. Technically, yes, but in what he's done in a Millwall shirt, still got a little bit more to do for me.
Candy, what's your thoughts then? Come on in. Jet, have we got a better player in Fleming?
See, I think I'm going to back Stephen on this. I think Fleming at the moment, again, it's early days, 5 in 5, brilliant. And you can see he's a great footballer. But Jed, for me, obviously he spent more time with us, and the chances and the goals that he scored, he was great for us. I won't boo him on Saturday, mind, but I was gutted when he left. But we always knew
we'll
that
come
would
to
happen.
that. We'll come to that next. But yeah, Joe
We always
Fleming.
knew that's going to happen. He was
No,
getting
that's
a
it.
little bit above his station. I thought he's quite greedy at points in games where he should just take all the chances. But again, he did well for us. And yeah, at the minute, I think Fleming will be, as it well, I'd say better if not. But yeah, I don't know. It's too early to say. It's too early to call.
Joe,
It's very, very hard to
considering
pick.
you sponsored Fleming this season.
I did.
And remember that we believe quite a few members of the Millwall team listen to this show, and you will have to meet him at the end of the season.
I know. That's why
he might listen.
Well, that's right, and that's why I'm picking Fleming. And I think Fleming is a much better player than Jed Wallace. And I'd be very glad to meet him at the end of the season when I get his signed shirt and shake his hand. And yeah, no, in all seriousness, I mean, I think that they're both wonderful players. I mean, could you imagine if we kept Jed Wallace in this side now, playing on that right side we talked about, that problem on that right-hand side, with Fleming in the middle, Jed Wallace on the right-hand side? I mean, Jesus Christ. I mean, I think we'll be definitely sort of challenging this season. They're very different players. Jed's very, very fast. He's very, very tricky. He's very direct. Likes taking players on. Fleming is more sort of continental player. He's a thinker. He'll get the ball. He's very creative. He'll look to bring players in and take chances that people wouldn't even think of taking. So they're very, very sort of different players. But I think to what the guys just said there, I mean, it's still early days. We ain't seen the best of Fleming yet. He's making some really good adjustments. I think the first sort of few games into English football, you can see he was like half a second behind because the game was so much quicker than it is in Dutch football. But he's got quicker. He's toughened himself out a little bit. You can see he's battling now and pressing defenders down, chasing the ball back. So he's making those changes and he's adapting to English football. So hopefully, we'll see more from Fleming to come next sort of 5-10 games. But yeah, for me personally, I'll pick Fleming over Jed.
2-1 at the moment. You sort of might have the deciding vote here, Ben. Who are you going with?
I said on the show last week that Jed did it for such a long time for us that I couldn't pick Fleming, but I'm now definitely picking Fleming. And there's a reason to this. I don't think he got the credit on Saturday for that goal that he deserved. Because if you played any sort of football at a decent standard, that ball came at him really quick. The composure that he just showed, just to side foot that in as casually as he did,
he stopped the ball first. He stopped the ball first. No. If you watch the highlights, I swear blind when I watched the highlights earlier.
I thought he hit it first time.
I think he hit it first time, yeah.
The defender headed it down. The defender headed it down. But as I say, in that position, the composure just to do that and roll it in. That was exactly it, Joe.
He didn't smash it. It's a side foot into the net, wasn't it? That
was my point. It was so easy, I think, for a lot of centre forwards or anyone in that position to snatch at that chance, seeing an open goal, 1-0 in the game. It could have bobbled off his shin, but the technique as well, just to keep that down, roll it in like he did, was unbelievable. And even before that, the first goal, the little pass that he made to Wallace to allow him to get the cross in, was just a great little 2-yard pass that he won't get any credit for. But things like that is where I think we'll see a difference over Jed. We all loved Jed when he was here, but I think at times his end product was quite frustrating. It might be because he was our main man and everything went through him because we saw a lot more of him. But his end product at times was disappointing. And I think what I've seen so far with Fleming, he doesn't seem to do the wrong things. He always seems to make the right pass, whether they're simple passes or shoot at the right time. He just makes the right decisions. And I think that's ultimately where you'll see a difference with Fleming and Jed. So I'm going to go with Fleming.
Yeah, and you're right. He did hit it first. I was kind of sworn he did. Yeah, he hit it first, and as you said, he did come into speed.
And also, Mickey, would Jed score that goal that Fleming scored on Saturday? The way the ball comes to you can see you've seen Jed so many times flap at chances or get chances. He'll go wide or over the bar or whatever. Whereas Fleming just seems technically a little bit better, another level from Jed.
Yeah.
Jed's got the athleticism. He's very agile. He's very quick, and everything else. But I just think as a player, technically, I think Fleming is a level above.
Yeah, no, I agree. So on to the final subject before we come into part two. And I suppose there's two parts to this, which I know where Joe sits, but it'd be interesting to see where you three sit after this one. Joe, are you a booer or a clapper?
Sorry, that's the first mute problem. I'm sort of more of a clapper than a booer when it comes to Jed. I'll probably do neither. I think he's coming to our ground. He wants to beat us. We want to beat them. So you don't want to make him feel too welcome, do you? I might clap him after the game if we win, but I certainly won't be booing him. For sure.
Ben?
Say again.
I was just saying, what's Ben's thoughts on it?
Yeah.
I've got splinters in my arse because I'm going to sit on the fence with this one. I'm neither as well, but I'm going to say I don't mind people booing him, get into him a bit. As Joe just said, we don't want to make it too comfortable for him. Look, I'm happy to clap him after the game, but I'm all for calling him a greedy whatever during the game and giving him some stick. So if I'm leaning towards boo, but I'm going to sit on the fence.
Stephen?
Well, sadly, I'm actually at a wedding next Saturday, so I won't be able to do neither. But
that's a bit selfish.
If you were at the game,
if I was at the game,
West Ham fan probably.
The best way I can answer that question, the only person I've ever really given any stick to coming back to the Den was Ian Holloway when he come back with QPR, because I always find, and I've said this so many times, and it's happened so many times when I've been up in Block 10, and they get on the back of somebody. And then more often than not, that person goes and sticks one in the net and they celebrate right in front of us. And you just think, right, well, here we go. That was always going to happen.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Lee Hughes years ago, there's a bit of a throwback for you. He did the same thing. But I wouldn't do it on the basis that we know that he's more than capable of doing what all these other players have. I don't think there's anything wrong with giving him some stick. I don't like how it was a move for the Premier League and ended up staying in the Championship. If he gets abuse, he gets abuse.
Yeah, I'll come to you in 2 seconds, Candy, but there was rumour that the reason he left was more about Gary Rowett's playing style, more so than the Premiership benefits as such, hence why he went to West Brom. But whether or not that's true or false, I don't know. But there is a hell of a lot of fairly solid rumour that he couldn't. Hence, a lot of the abuse this week when Rowett was geared up potentially with the West Brom rumour that we were like, hopefully it means that we might get Jed back, because Gary Rowett walking into that changing room, Jed would definitely want to be leaving rapidly. But
the thing with that is right. We're going way off subject here, but had we have gone to Birmingham last year when we needed to win that game and won the game and got into the playoffs, and God forbid we'd have got into the Premier League, does Jed Wallace leave because Gary Rowett's playing style?
I don't
think so.
I really don't know on that one. But there was a lot of skullduggery, shall we say, and there was also a lot of skullduggery around Danny Mack contract this season. Candice knows probably a lot of the same people I know, and she's not in there as well. So there was a lot of skullduggery around. I don't like the dirty tactics what were employed, where the club was making press releases and turning, shall we say, a lot of the new Millwall against Danny. And if you know Danny's Millwall through his family are starch Millwall fans, and you know that there's always two sides to every story. So don't always believe what the club wants you to read about what's going on in the club. Please do read between the lines, and if you've got contacts outside of there, then speak to those people as well, because it's not always how they like you to perceive it is. But Candice, go on, boo or clap. You've sort of said a minute ago, but we'll see where you are, and then I'll give my opinion before we break for part one.
Yeah, I'm on the fence. I don't think he deserves to be booed, to be honest. I mean, rightly so, give him stick throughout the game. Would I stand there and clap him? I'm not sure I do that either, to be honest. I think I'm just too neutral to do either. So, yeah, I'm on the fence with that one. But I don't think he should be booed.
My thoughts are, as an opposition player, yes, he played for us. Yes, he was a fantastic servant for us. Yes, he did great for us. No, he isn't, and I'll ask you this in a sec, before we break, just a one-word or two-word answer. I don't think he's a legend for us. I don't think he did anything outstanding, what we remember for ever and a day for the rest of the Millwall history. But he is an opposition player. And yes, he does deserve, 5 minutes in to be taken out and put in the docker stand. And he does deserve to be called a cunt for most of the game, to be fair. If that rallies him on to go out and do something against us, then fucking hell be it. But he's an opposition player. And yes, while he was here, he did good. But he got paid a fucking wage to do that. Now, if someone else is paying his wages, we have that right to call him a cunt whenever we want. My views, probably not the same as everybody's, but they're my views. And I know what Joe's thoughts are because we've done a show on this, but I'll be interested to hear your threes on it. Just literally one or two-word answer. I'll go to you first, Ben. Is Jed Wallace a legend in your eyes? Yes or no?
No.
Excellent. Ben, I'll go to you, Stephen. Is he a legend? Yes or no?
Would never put him in the same bracket as Tim Cahill, so no.
Excellent. Candy, is he a legend? Yes or no?
No, he's not. He's not a Morrison. He's not a Harris. He's not a Cahill. No.
There we go. Thank God for that. We've got some sensible people on. And it's gone the way I wanted it to go. Well, that's the end of part one. We're going to come back in part two, where we'll be looking at Watford coming to the Den on Wednesday. So we'll be back straight after this. We got Watford coming to the Den on Wednesday. On the back of a win, they're looking, they are a fairly good side. They're still managerless, aren't they? I think they are managerless.
They got Bilic, shouldn't they?
Yeah, they've got Bilic now. Yeah. So we go to you, Joe. What's your thoughts on Wednesday?
I think it'd be a tough game. I can see goals in it. Similarly to ourselves, really, quite weird this is. Prior to Slaven Bilic taking over, which I think was like 3 games ago, they used to play with a back 5. I'm sure Stephen will tell me right or wrongly. And the system wasn't quite working for them. Bilic has come in and he went with a flat back 4 and he's playing the same formation as we are, 4-2-3-1. And I think their first game they won 4-0 against Stoke, I think it was. They've had a couple of losses in between. I think in their 4 games, they won 2 and lost 2. But they're playing on the front foot. They're scoring goals. They're looking exciting, and it suits their crop of players. But I just feel, Wednesday night under the lights, hopefully we'll get a few fans filling up the Den, being a London sort of derby, if you call Watford a London side. And I just fancy us to go and do it. And I don't think it'd be like a 1-0 or a 2-1. I think we can sort of go on and probably win, 3-0, 3-1. I think it'd be quite an easy win for us. And the only reason why I say that is because they're still a bit suspect at the back. They've got some aging defenders at the moment as well in their side. They've got a few injuries, or they have got Keenan Davies up front, who, Chris, old chaps, loves Keenan Davies. I think he wanted him to come to Millwall. We had a chance to try and sign him start the season. He scored a few goals. He scored 3 goals for them this season already. And Sarr, again, very dangerous player. And they've got international players throughout the whole team. They're all ex-Premiership players, most of them. So they're a decent outfit. But I just think with the form we're in at the moment, the confidence we've got, I think we'll go and do them, and we're doing well. You on mute, Mickey?
Yeah, no, I didn't say nothing. Go on, Ben. Off you go, fella.
1-1.
2 bloopers for this week.
Yeah.
I was sat there frantically trying to have a look then since Bilic had come in. And just on what you've said there, Joe, it does seem as though they're quite leaky at the back. Conceded 3 against Blackpool, lost 2-1 to Swansea. Bank of BTS, it sounds like. Everyone get on the 0-0 draw. I think it's going to be a tough game, personally, as Joe just alluded to. they've got Premiership and international quality running throughout the side. Can we get after them at home? Of course we can. Hopefully, as Joe again said, we get a few in under the lights, make it a bit boisterous. I'd take your hand off for a point now.
Stephen?
I think I said on the Spaces yesterday, and I always say this, at the moment, Watford are a Championship club. So, yes, they do have players that have played in the Premier League, but so have most of the teams in the Championship. So, we come up against that most of the time. Even if they were a Premier League side, which they were the last time I think when they come to us in the cup run and we beat them, at the Den, I back us to beat anybody in a league fixture, and in most of the cup games as well. I would back us to beat anybody. I think what Joe said was quite spot on. They have changed their system, so obviously, Bilic has gone in and seen that whatever was the previous manager was doing wasn't working. But they do have some aging defenders, and our movement up front is something that over the last few games is causing problems and it is creating chances. So whilst I don't think it might not be as comfortable as what Joe predicted, I don't have any fear of sides coming to the Den, and I'd like to think maybe another 2-1, 2-0. But again, we're at the Den. It is a fortress, and teams don't want to come there. Whoever they are, they don't want to come there, and I don't think that's any different on Wednesday. And obviously Bilic with a West Ham link as well, so he's going to cop a bit as well, as he always does. So again, I can only see us having another good performance.
Candy, go on.
You said about booing Wallace. Can I boo Bilic on Wednesday?
You can boo whoever you fucking want at them, mate. You can, listen, we're Millwall, mate. We're fucking horrible. You can boo whoever you want. You know what I mean?
They're above one spot above us in the table, same points. We won yesterday. They lost, and they won. Sorry, they did win yesterday, didn't they? Yeah. They lost their last two, I think it was, and draw. So I think it's there for the taking. Millwall at home. I'm always quite confident Millwall at home, whether it's Watford, whoever. So I think we'll win comfortably as well. But I'm going with the 2-1.
You see, this is I'm quite comfortable. I think, we spoke on the space and it seemed as if most people are happy to get a draw as such. But I think we'll probably go out and win. The confidence is high. My only concern is that we like to fucking get into their half and then keep passing the ball backwards. If we've got a few players who play with the same mentality as Fleming does, where he shoots on sight, then I think we'll probably score a few more goals. And these teams, we will cause these teams shitloads of problems. And I'm probably going to go between Candy and Joe and Steve. I'm probably going to go maybe 2-0, maybe a 3-0, maybe a 4-0, to be fair. But I think we're going to see somewhere along those. And I think Fleming potentially will score a brace. I think he's going to come on form. And he's just going to be scoring, and he's going to be giving that Man City a run for his money, and start sticking goals away. We need him to score a couple of hat tricks, and then it'll be fucking superb. But I don't know.
On the topic there of Man City, earlier on I watched the Liverpool City game.
Got closed down today, didn't he?
And Manchester City do exactly what we do. They get the ball into their midfielders in the middle, and I think it was Gundogan passed the ball back to their centre halves. If it was about 30 times, they did exactly the same thing, and they got nowhere. They had some chances, of course, but they got nowhere. So if the best teams do it and it doesn't work, it ain't going to work for us.
There's a wicked podcast, and I'll put it in the show description. In the show notes of the pod and on YouTube. It's called Fanalytics, and it's a couple of analysts who they've done a show last week where they were talking about formation and certain managers and certain things what aren't necessarily new. Venables, Redknapp used to play these sort of styles where we're saying them now, like 5 at the back and stuff, and the wing backs and all of that, where they played them there. But it's an interest. It was about an hour or so, but they go in detail of of talking about different managers' positions and what the benefit is with formation against formation, and the guys what can change formation mid-play. So start off on a 4-3-2-1, change into a 4-4-2, go back to a 5-3, and which ones can do it and all that. And I don't know. I'm not a massive formation nut like the rest of the guys on the show normally on the regular panel on the show, and probably with you guys. But I go to watch football, to drink beer, make pals, go on one, and just have a good laugh as such. And to ask me to give you a running order between a false 9 or a fucking number 10 and all that, and I'll just go, well, is it there? I don't really know that much, and I don't pretend I do.
Can I just say, Mickey, I didn't think I'd come on this. I didn't think I'd come on the show tonight and hear a comparison. I know we beat Bristol City the weekend, but between us and Man City.
I was thinking the same thing.
To be fair, we've got a wonderkin as well. So yeah, I mean, just one thing before we end, and it was there on the show notes, and I'll bring it in. This new ITV Championship show, from the music intro at the beginning, sounds like it should be a daytime chat show or an evening chat show with Parkinson. It doesn't give you the same enthusiasm that you're just about to watch 2 hours of league football. The presenters don't seem to have any real chemistry between each other. So whoever did the casting and they've done a chemistry test, they scored a definite A- there or a B- there. At least with Quest, it used to be enjoyable to watch. Colin Murray was fantastic. He knew his stuff. He probably watched the games. He's got a lot of knowledge. And the guests they had on also had a lot of knowledge. Plus the fact that Quest used to copy us in tweets and tell us whereabouts we were going to play and whether or not we were going to be on main and different topic points and interact with our fan base, which ITV don't, bastards. And Quest used to involve us quite a bit. But I don't know. I'll start with you, Candy. I mean, what's your thoughts on this new... I'll just pick on you because I haven't picked on you all night. So you're the new one, so I'll pick on you. What's your thoughts on this new ITV show? Do you like it? Do you watch it? Or do you just, what I do, fast forward to the Millwall bit, watch what they say about Millwall, and then fucking switch it off, really? Fly through the other bits.
I've got to be honest, I'm normally still in the pub when it's on, so I don't watch it.
You can watch it on catch-up, and also it's on in the morning as well.
I've seen a few, and I do exactly the same. I forward to Millwall, see what they got. They see the highlights, see what they got to say, and that's about it, really. So, yeah, what I've heard, what I've seen, on Twitter, and heard a few people at football say is that, yeah, it's rubbish, it's not very good. And as you said, they prefer Quests. So I haven't really got much to add to that in terms of I've not really watched it.
That's fine. Drinking instead of watching it is probably a much better time, because if you were at home, you would force you to drink through watching it. So yeah, it's a benefit. So I've got 2 kids, so yeah, it's my days of staying in the pub every game is it's gone very far and few between. But yeah, go on, Joe, give us your thoughts on it.
I'm hoping that either Ben or Stephen have watched it, because I'm with Candy. I haven't seen it either, unfortunately, so I can't really comment too much on it.
Lightweight. Go on, Ben. I know you watched the extended highlights today.
Yeah, firmly in the camp of Joe and Cat. I don't watch it. I watch it on Sky or I watch it on Millwall TV. So I couldn't tell if it's good or bad. I know the Quest one was good, but don't watch it, mate. Not much help here. Sorry,
Stephen. No, you are.
Stephen.
Stephen, go on.
I watched the first one, the first of the season.
One of us watched it,
but not anymore. It was terrible. To be honest with you, as well, with today in today's world, if you want to see a goal, more often than not, you can type it into Twitter on the search thing, and you can find the video straight away. Yeah. Sky Sports have about half an hour after full time, they have a 2-minute package of just the goals. And then, like Ben said, I just watch it on Millwall TV. I'd rather watch it on there. You get 15 minutes, or you can watch the whole game back if you want to. But on what you said, the first episode, the music is terrible. it is absolutely. You don't think you're watching a sport related.
You
show
think you're ready
whatsoever.
for Parkinson to come on?
Yeah.
It's like it is. It's ready for a chat show with Parkinson. If you I mean, I would try and get the music on, but I'll be copyrighted. But it's shocking. Just go into your iPlayer. If you listen to this, go into your iPlayer at some point. Type in football in ITV Hub, and just type in football. You'll see the Championship Football Show. Just listen to the first 20 seconds of the opening theme. Don't do it to you to watch the rest of it, but just listen to the first 20 seconds of the theme tune, and you would honestly believe that you're just about to watch Jonathan Ross or Michael Parkinson or fucking Graham Norton or some. Well, no, actually, Graham Norton's show's a lot more energetic than this one. But this is my fault. Sorry, that realistically, out of us, I watch it briefly. I watch online. I watch the goals as they go in. Through Twitter, through social media and stuff like that. And you see the stuff there. So realistically, on a short audience, what we've got here, you're looking at a 1 in 5, which is probably 20% of football fans maybe watching it, if that, which is shit. I reckon Quest had bigger numbers. Go on, Stephen.
The big thing for me, and it really, really bugs me, is a lot of time when you watch football, you're watching the football, you want to, that's obvious. But the people that are talking about the games also enhance or make the watching football better or worse. And more often than not, you will find, and it happens week on week, that they get Sean Hutchinson and Jake Cooper confused. They get the name wrong. They don't know who they're talking about. That's one example I can think of. Yeah. And it's so poor. It's not difficult to get things right. And you look at that, and as I say, in the first game, I think the first game, Cresswell scored 2. And I think the second one, they were talking about Jake Cooper. And at that point, it was just like, no, I'm not. It's clearly not Jake Cooper. There is a clear difference between the two. It's just unprofessional.
There's also an agenda against Millwall with him, mate, that we're always fucking in the last pecking order, and he's a bastard to fast forward to try and find it. Plus, there's adverts in, at least with Quest, they used to put the teams out on socials and play some of it, or their thoughts on the game and stuff like that out on socials the next day. But hey ho, right, that is pretty much it. The way we'll end is I will say thanks to our guests for coming on. Thank you very much for coming on, Candy. Have you got any final words, or as they say on Radio 2, as Ken Bruce says, would you like to say hello to anyone?
No, just my dad.
This is where she comes out with a great big list and starts rolling it off. Yeah.
Oh, Dad.
But no, it's fine. Thank you for inviting me on. I've had a great time.
And I suppose the next question is: will you be coming back? If we invite you back on, will you be coming back?
If you want me back, then yeah, I'll definitely come on.
Excellent, Joe. Then, any final word, fella?
No, just I really enjoyed the show. Nice to meet you guys. Obviously, enjoyed what you had to say, and very, very interesting getting your thoughts and your opinions on everything Millwall. Really looking forward to Wednesday. I just want to fast forward now to Wednesday night. I'm taking a couple of clients to the exec lounge on Wednesday night. So it'll be a real tough one for me because I want us to absolutely spank Watford. But it's like you've got clients with you. You want to have a good evening, a good time. They're Watford fans, so. I don't know, it's a really difficult one. I can't sort of cheer too loudly. But I'm looking forward to it. And, roll on Wednesday.
Ben, final words, fella?
Yeah, thanks for having us back on, Mickey. Really enjoyed it again. Great to come on after a win and feeling a little bit more positive. So, yeah, nice. Come on, you Lions.
Stephen?
Both times that me and Ben have been on, Millwall have won. So you need to keep inviting us back because we're obviously the good luck charm. But and like always, thanks for having me on. It's great to talk about the club. And as I said last time, we all want what's best for the team, and it's great to hear different opinions and see what other fans that you might not get the chance to speak to have to say. So yeah, really good.
That's it. Remember, we are the home of the Millwall Interactive Fan Show. Every full time after the game, you can get yourself on Twitter and get your views aired. There is no rules, really, apart from, obviously, you can't come on and slander someone. We have opposition fans come on and try and give it, and they find out that I have a dump button rather quickly, which is comical. and then we just take the piss out of them. But yeah, if you've got a view, we'll have your views on there. The more fans we get, the better it is, and that is normally on Twitter. That's you'll find it's either on our channel or Alex Grace's channel, but that is after every game at full time. So that's it. Follow us across socials. If you're watching on YouTube, please subscribe. We are nearly at the magic number what YouTube wants us to have to open up a few more doors for us. So if you're not subscribed yet, do please subscribe. About 57% of you who watch us on YouTube aren't subscribed yet. And you could be doing us a favour by just pressing that subscribe button. We'll see you again probably Thursday or Friday morning, talking about the Watford win, where we absolutely spanked them, and then looking forward to welcoming Jed Wallace to the Den. And we'll see whether or not he gets dog shit abuse or he gets clapped. I'm on the dog shit abuse side. That's it. See you later.